Hello and welcome to Really Big Hat. I'm Jared, and this is D&D Quick Builds, where we build D&D characters quickly. Today we're building the Holy Avenger, a warrior sent by the gods to solve the problems in the mortal realm. And not with peace and love, if you catch my drift. So let's get started. We are, of course, calling our character the Holy Avenger. Pick your own name, obviously. And we are going to use optional class features and customize our origin. For our race, we are going with Protector Azamar. That gets us a few key features. Firstly, our charisma score increases by 2. That is going to benefit us, you'll see in a moment. We have Celestial Resistance, giving us resistance to necrotic and radiant damage. We have a Healing Hands pool that's equal to our level. We know the Light cantrip, and Charisma is our spellcasting ability for it. We choose a different ability score to increase by 1 because of our origin ability score increase. This is an option you have to select. I've changed the Wisdom to Strength. And then we get the Radiant Soul feature. This one's really cool. Starting at 3rd level, we can use our action to unleash our divine energy. That causes our eyes to glimmer and 2 wings to sprout from our back. This lasts for a minute, and during this time we have a flying speed of 30 feet, and once on each of our turns when we attack something and deal damage to it with a regular attack or a spell, we can deal extra radiant damage equal to our level to it. That's only once per turn, but still, that's pretty cool. At level 1, we are going to start our build off as a paladin. That gives us proficiency in all armor, shields, and all weapons. We get saving throws in wisdom and charisma, and we get 2 skills from athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. I've taken athletics and religion. Take what you want here. This is completely up to you. We also get the divine sense feature, which lets us locate the position of celestial fiends or undead within 60 feet of us. And we get another lay on hands pool. This one is equal to our paladin level times 5. For our ability scores, I'm once again taking a point by. We are going to bring Strength up to 15, which will give us 16 with our +1 from our Origin ability score. Keeping Dex at 8, bringing Con to 14, bringing Intelligence and Wisdom up to 10, and bringing Charisma up to 14, which will bring our total up to 16 with our racial bonus as well. You can, if you want, bring either Intelligence or Wisdom up to 12 and leave the other one at 8 if you're more concerned about one saving throw than another, or possibly you want better checks with a skill that uses it. But I like to even them out personally. This is, of course, entirely up to you, however. For our background, I've gone with Far Traveler, because in my version of the character, they're literally from another plane of existence. But you can really take whatever you want here. This gets you Insight and Perception, which are pretty good skills to have, especially as a paladin, and especially as this type of character, I would say. But really, this is entirely up to you. For our starting equipment, we are going to go ahead and take equipment. We're going to take the 2 martial weapons. One of them should either be a greatsword or a great axe, dealer's choice. The other one, if I have a choice of another weapon and I'm really only planning to use one, I like taking a net, because it's actually a pretty useful thing to have on you. But this is entirely up to you, your second choice. As well as this one is also up to you. I've taken the 5 javelins, but if you want a simple melee weapon, go ahead and pick one up. This one, also, dealer's choice. I've taken a priest pack, but you can take an explorer's pack if you want. And once again, this is entirely up to you. Take the chainmail and a holy symbol. I've taken an amulet. You can take whatever you want. You can take an emblem, a reliquary, holy symbol, whatever. And then, as far as background starting equipment, that's also going to change depending on what you actually select as your background. So here's our character sheet at level 1. You can see our ability scores, saving throws. Got 12 HP, 16 armor class. -1 to initiative, but, you know, we're a paladin. We've also got -1 and disadvantage on stealth. That's just how things go. But we've got our greatsword here. We've got chainmail equipped. We're in pretty good shape. So the next thing we are going to do is take Paladin all the way to level 5. Along the way, we pick up a fighting style. We are going to want to take Great Weapon Fighting, since we are wielding a greatsword or a great axe. 2-handed weapon. If you're not, or if you don't feel like this, you can always take defense for the +1 to AC. That is always a good choice as well. Along the way, we also get spell casting, we'll go over our spells in a moment. We get Divine Smite, which is what we're going to be using most of our spell slots on. We also get the Harness Divine Power feature from our optional class features. That's pretty cool. We can use Channel Divinity to get back a spell slot. It's probably not going to be the best use of our Channel Divinity, especially since we are going to be choosing the Oath of Vengeance. That gets us the ability to abjure an enemy or swear a vow of enmity. And this is the one that we really want to be using. As a bonus action, we can target a creature within 10 feet of us and gain advantage on attack rolls against them for 1 minute. Very cool. And then at level 4, where we get our ability score improvement, we are actually going to be taking a feat and grabbing Great Weapon Master. Once again, if you've decided not to go with a two-handed weapon, you can either choose a different feat here or bump up your strength or your charisma. It's really up to you at that point. So, paladins are, of course, prepared spellcasters, which means they know every spell on their spell list, and they choose to prepare a number of spells each day. I have selected a smattering of spells that are usually going to be coming in handy. So, we of course get Bane from Oath of Vengeance. I have also selected Bless because it's a great spell. I've selected Command as well, because it's pretty darn useful. We get Hunter's Mark from Oath of Vengeance as well. That's another good spell we could concentrate on. Or we could go for one of the Smite spells. I've taken Searing and Thunderous Smite to be used against, whichever foe you think will be more useful against at the time. Hold Person and Misty Step we both get from Oath of Vengeance as well, and these are both also very good spells. Misty Step especially. And I've also selected Warding Bond. That we get from our additional Paladin spell list. That is a feature we have to click. At level 6, we're going to step away from Paladin and actually start taking some Warlock levels. Now at level 1 of Warlock, we obviously get to choose our patron, and we are taking the Celestial. That fits in very well with our lore. We imagine that instead of our training as a Paladin, we're now receiving power directly from some celestial being. We also get bonus cantrips, which are the Light and Sacred Flame cantrips. We already have the Light cantrip, and this is coming off of the same ability score, so it's really just the same cantrip. And we also get another pool of healing. This is basically another Lay on Hands, however, this one is activated as a bonus action. We have a pool of D6s, which equal 1 plus our Warlock level, that we can use to heal people. Pretty cool. And now on to the spellcasting. So, for our cantrips, I have taken Booming Blade and Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast is kind of a staple for Warlocks, even for us. It gives us something to do at range, which we haven't really had up until now. We also get Guiding Bolt and Hex. Honestly, we're probably not going to be casting these all that often, but they are there, should we need them. Hex in particular is competing with a lot of other concentration spells. We have both Bane and Bless. We have Hunter's Mark. We have all of those Smite spells. So, if you can find a way to cast Hex in your build, great. If not, it's really not that needed. I just wanted to take it because, honestly, we didn't need any of the other spells either, and it's kind of the quintessential Warlock pick. So, moving right along to level 2 of Warlock is where we get our Eldritch Invocations, and I have selected Agonizing Blast and Grasp of Hadar. This will allow us to use Eldritch Blast to deal a little bit more damage and pull enemies closer to us. That way, they get in range of our awesome greatsword. We also get another spell at this level, and honestly, take whatever you want from this list here. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and just pick up Cure Wounds, just because we've got 3 other ways of healing people already, so we really don't need this. It's just there to be there, You never know. For level 8, we are going to be moving back over to Paladin, and at level 6 of Paladin, we get Aura of Protection. This means that us and any friendly creature within 10 feet of us can add our Charisma modifier to any saving throws they make. Very good ability. So, we are now moving up to level 10 and taking 2 more levels of Paladin. At level 7, we get the Relentless Avenger feature from our Oath of Vengeance. That means whenever we hit a creature with an opportunity attack, we can move up to half our speed immediately after the attack as part of the same reaction, and it doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. This won't come up terribly often, but it is pretty useful to be able to maneuver yourself around a battlefield whenever you can, so pretty cool. We also get an ability score improvement at this level, and here I am going to take the ability score improvement and improve our strength. Moving to level 12, we are going to jump back to Warlock and take 2 more levels there. At 3rd level of Warlock, we get to select our Pact boon, and we are going to go ahead and take Pact of the Blade. This allows us to create a Pact weapon. We can do that with our Greatsword. Pretty cool. And we get an ability score improvement at level 4, and we're going to cap out our strength score there. And as for our spells known, first I'm going to forget Cure Wounds, and we are going to pick up Mirror Image, Shadow Blade, and Suggestion. Moving on to level 13, we are going to take another level of Warlock. This gives us another Eldritch Invocation, and we are going to be taking Improved Pact Weapon. That means that our Pact Weapon now gains a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. At level 5, we also gain access to 3rd level spells, and it is at this point that I am going to forget Suggestion and learn Counterspell and Dispel Magic. In addition to our pretty darn good across the board saving throws, this will give us some extra things to do in combat against enemy spellcasters. At level 14, we are going to move up to Warlock level 6, which gets us the Radiant Soul feature. Now, we get another instance of resistance to radiant damage. This, of course, does not stack. However, when we cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, we can add our charisma modifier to 1 roll of that damage type to one of its targets. Little bit of extra damage. It's really only going to help us in some very, very niche circumstances with how we play our character. However, we also get another spell, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up Revivify, because you never know, huh? Moving up to level 16, we are going to move up to Warlock level 8. Along the way, we pick up an Eldritch Invocation at level 7, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up Ghostly Gaze. That gives us a minute of X-ray vision within a range of 30 feet. Have fun with that, you know? And we also pick up an ability score improvement at level 8, and I'm going to go ahead and bump up our Charisma. We also pick up a couple more spells along the way, this time at 4th level, and I'm going to pick up Dimension Door and Wall of Fire. Moving on to level 18, we are going to move up to level 10 of Warlock. Along the way, we get another Eldritch Invocation. I have picked up Whispers of the Grave, but of course, these are all up to you. If you see something else that you would like better, take that. We also get at level 10 Celestial Resilience. That gives us temporary hit points whenever we finish a short or long rest, and those equal our Warlock level plus our Charisma modifier. At this level for us, that's 14 temporary hit points. We can also choose up to 5 creatures we can see at the end of the rest, and those creatures gain temporary hit points equal to half our Warlock level plus our Charisma modifier. So that is going to be 9 temporary HP for them. Between these 2 levels, we also pick up another spell, and I have grabbed Wall of Light. But, of course, take what you want. Moving on to level 20, we're going to finish the build with another couple levels of Warlock. At level 12, we get another Eldritch Invocation, and this time I am taking Life Drinker, which lets us, when we hit a creature with our Pact weapon, they will take extra necrotic damage equal to our Charisma modifier. So this will bump up our melee swings a little bit more. We also, at 11th level, get a Mystic Arcanum for 6th level. I have selected Mental Prison. You can take what you want here, obviously. And at 12th level, we also get an ability score improvement, and I have decided to cap off our Charisma. So, as we scan over our character sheet here at level 20, let's talk about some other options and some tips for playing the character. Firstly, other options. There are 2 big ones. First, you could take Paladin all the way through the build to level 20, and there'd be nothing wrong with doing that. Secondly, you could, instead of taking Warlock levels, multiclass into a Divine Soul Sorcerer. I would actually call that the meta version of the build. It'll net you more spell slots and a wider spell list to pull from, as well as meta magic options. You'll of course miss out on your Eldritch Invocations, some of which are pretty cool, but honestly, Sorcerer is going to be a stronger mechanical option. I took Warlock mainly for the lore of the character I envisioned. And as for tips on how to play the character, You're going to want to smite. You're going to want to smite as much as you possibly can. You're going to want to use your Vow of Enmity as your Oath of Vengeance Paladin to gain advantage on weapon attacks against the target. Then use Great Weapon Master. The advantage will cancel out the -5 penalty. And then you're going to want to just wail on them as hard as you possibly can. If they're not in range, use your Eldritch Blast, which can pull foes 10 feet closer. And then on the next turn, you're going to want to slam them with your Greatsword. That's basically how the character plays. You do have spellcasting to fall back on. Some of your spells are actually pretty darn good, but your main goal is going to be to smite people with that Greatsword. It's a +1 with your packed weapon, unless you have something stronger from your DM, which by level 20 you probably do. And that's how you just want to play it. So, I hope you have fun playing the character, and I will see you next time. Later.